And thank you for joining us.
The following is a sponsored program paid for by Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results. Welcome to Rochester Real Estate, featuring Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results, and Andy Brownell. Here's Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Good morning. It's Saturday morning. I'm Andy Brownell, along with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group, RE/MAX Results, here at News Talk, 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM. Good morning, Robin.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I am excellent. How about yourself?
Me too. I had a super busy week, and I honestly thought I would be just exhausted today, but I don't know. I feel revitalized, energized. I don't know.
Awesome.
I think something to be said about productivity. It definitely fuels my fire.
Remaining active.
Mm-hmm.
It's always somewhat the key, but you got to crash sometimes.
And I'm going to work today. I am going to work today for most of the day. Like literally right after this, I have appointment up until about 2:00. And then I'm going to go to a fundraiser this afternoon, for a Kentucky Derby party. It'll be a Kentucky Derby party for the Wabasha Kellogg Area Foundation. So it'll be fun. I'll put on a pretty dress and a funny hat, you know.
I was going to ask you if you have some weird,
not quite as weird as some of the stuff you see. Like, I swear to God, people have hats that I don't even know how they walk through doors. I guess they don't. They probably take them off.
Right. What is the drink that they always have at the Kentucky Derby?
Mint julep.
That's it.
I won't be drinking that. No, that's not my thing.
Not for me either. Thanks. Anyway. I'm not wearing a hat either. Whatever.
You're not?
Going on. No.
I have an extra I could borrow.
I may watch the race, but I will not be wearing a hat.
There you go. Well, those are two facts we know. All right.
Okay, so big news this week. Maybe you can tell us what's going on regarding RE/MAX Results.
Yes. So it's not just regarding RE/MAX Results. It's regarding RE/MAX the franchise, RE/MAX the brand, RE/MAX the corporation. Okay. So it sounds like a lot bigger deal than it is, because to the outside world, it really isn't. It's going to go unnoticed. Okay. I'll just give you an example of Coldwell Banker. I worked for Coldwell Banker for my first 14 years of my career. Okay. And when I started working for Coldwell Banker, all I knew is that I was going to work for Jim Nelson, who owned the local franchise Coldwell Banker at Your Service that I worked at, right? I had no idea who the parent company of Coldwell Banker was. If somebody would have said to me, who owns Coldwell Banker? I would have said Jim Nelson. Well, no, he owned my franchise that I worked at. That's it.
Gotcha.
But the two owners of Coldwell Banker, the initial owners back in 1906, were Coldwell and Banker. Imagine that. So they named their company Coldwell Banker. They ran it. They ran it for years, and then their families. I think the first 75 years, it was actually owned by Coldwell and Banker or descendants there, after them. And then it wasn't until 1981 that it was bought by Sears and Roebuck.
I remember that.
Sears and Roebuck owned Coldwell Banker. And they owned it for several years, I think up until 15 years or so, maybe 1996. It was bought by a company called Cendent. Cendent was big into, I want to say, investments and travel, something like that. I don't really have that in front of me, but I remember from working at Coldwell Banker learning all this, okay? So then Cendent owned Coldwell Banker and Century 21 and Better Homes and Gardens and, several other brands, right? So that it never made us the same brand. It was just like there are hotel chains where really, really high-end hotels and then really, really minimal hotels are owned under the same parent company, but they show up different to the public. They have different price points, different amenities, all those things, right?
Marriott
owns
all sorts of different brands.
Correct. And so Cendent closed down and they spun off into different divisions. They didn't have the one big umbrella anymore. So the real estate division of that became Realogy. And then I remember going from Cendent to Realogy, and what is that going to mean? It meant nothing. And then a year later, some big company bought Realogy, and then it eventually became Anywhere Real Estate, I think is what it was called, which had a whole bunch of brands under it, which just this January was bought by Compass Real Estate. And they did that because they had a lot of smaller brands and they want to be able to say, we are the largest real estate company. They're not the largest brand, but they're the largest company because they own other brands. Okay. Sure. So now let's go back to RE/MAX. Dave and Gail Lineker started RE/MAX back in, 53 years ago. I don't know what year it was. I want to say it was 72. I don't know for sure. Anyway, they started RE/MAX. It was a whole new concept to the real estate world because it was a place where you could come in, you could rent your own space in their building under their brand, and you could, pitch in for marketing. They would charge you so much to be there, but they would take less of your commission than a traditional company would. Okay. Kind of a thing. Okay. So they made it huge. I mean, RE/MAX is a brand that is a household name. I mean, Dave and Gail Lineker, hats off to them because they were some really good people with really good business sense and really good hearts. And they had some tough years. I mean, sometimes they just about lost everything and then they would do well again and then they would have tough times. And, they struggled through. And so they actually made a very good life for themselves and did very well. They're aging. I mean, they've been at this for 50 some years. Gail's health has not been great. Dave's getting old. I mean, the writing was on the wall that they were going to be selling this company at some point. Yeah. I came to the brand in 2014, and at that time it was already a publicly traded company. Okay, so they actually started publicly trading in 2013. So if you want to get technical, they first sold their company in 2013. Just not all of it. They kept the controlling part of it, right? Yeah. And now it's time. He's ready to be retired. And I figured this out when we were in Vegas in February because they brought Dave up on stage, which they do every year, and then they presented him with a Lifetime Achievement Award. And I thought, well, this means Dave's done, which tells me the company's going another direction. It was just a guess, but it was a good one. I wouldn't have guessed Real Brokerage because Real Brokerage is a relatively new brand. Okay, so they have their leader or owner is some very, very smart guy who said, there's new people getting into the real estate game now. They're not the same people that got in when Robin got in and they didn't even have cell phones, right? These are young kids who are tech savvy, they just operate in a different way. So he wanted to appeal to the young agents. He wanted to appeal to the agents who had already created a good business but wanted the next best thing. So he actually recruited a lot of RE/MAX agents. He wasn't dumb, right? So that company, I think 5 years ago, might have had a couple thousand agents. Now they have 33,000. But he thought, how do I become what RE/MAX is? How do I become a household name? How do I become, 150,000 agents like RE/MAX is? How do I become present in 110 countries like RE/MAX is? How do I do this? Well, there's two ways to do it. You can either put the time in, like the Linekers did, spend 50 years building from the ground up, or you can buy in. And luckily, he's a smart businessman. He's been making a lot of money, and he was in a position to buy in. RE/MAX was at a point in the, point in the road, whatever you want to say it, to sell. And so they made a marriage. So people say acquisition. Other people say merger. People say merger/acquisition. Well, I will tell you that they are the controlling, Real is the controlling brand in this sale because they not only paid $550 million, they took on $330 million worth of debt. Okay. So they paid $880 million to get the brand of RE/MAX. So today, RE/MAX is owned by RE/MAX Holdings LLC. All RE/MAX is owned by RE/MAX Holdings LLC. The balloon, the brand, the everything, right? Okay. Doesn't mean my brokerage. My brokerage is owned by John Colopy, by John Colopy Holdings, okay? Or Colopy Holdings, I think. Anyway, so RE/MAX will no longer be held by RE/MAX Holdings because RE/MAX Holdings goes away. That's what he sold. Okay. Real Brokerage currently owns Real, and Real Brokerage is going away. And instead, the parent company, the new parent company, is going to be called Real Remax Group. And Real Remax Group will own the brand of Real, and they will own the brand of Remax. But the brands will stay separate. Business will be, as usual, under each brand, the way each brand is currently set up. And he just got a great big bump in his position in the market. And like I said, he's a genius. I haven't met the guy. I hope I get to. I think he paired up with the right brand, because his motto at Real Brokerage is work hard, be kind, be real. And I love it. I love it.
So if I'm going to take a guess or speculate, this will likely result in you probably have access to a whole bunch of neat new high-tech strategies and tools.
That's exactly the truth. That's one of the big benefits for Remax, is that they do have some cutting-edge technology at Real. They're a cloud-based company. That doesn't mean that they're not real agents doing real work just like we are, right? But they do things differently, like I said. So what might happen is, let's say I work for the guy who owns the Four Seasons and something else. And I'm working at the other hotel, and I think, wow, my same boss, I have the ability to transfer within and stay at the same company kind of thing, right?
Sure.
So maybe if I were going to do a switch from Remax, which, mark my word, that's never, ever happening, it would be like, maybe I just look into shifting my team to a Real Brokerage team, right? So I think there will be some Remax agents that feel like the Real brand is a better fit for them. And there might even be some Real agents that think Remax is a better brand for them. But either way, it's just going to help the parent company of Real Remax Group recruit more agents overall and
sure.
offer better technology to everyone. And I mean, it's just better. It's just good. People are like, are you so sad that your company was sold? I'm like, whoever owns Remax at the corporate level has very little to do with me, very little effect on me, except for I could see a change in like our conferences and our events. I could see that costs were being cut. So it was very clear that money wasn't being spent. So once it became a publicly traded company, it was clear that they weren't making money. So yeah, I think it'll be just all changes for the good.
And it's still Robin Gwaltney Group Remax Results, because that's
correct. Because Remax Results owns a franchise of Remax, and their franchise agreement that they entered into a lot of years ago is ironclad against, if the parent company ever changes, how does that affect our franchise agreement? It doesn't. Okay. So nothing will change to any of my clients except for, better technology, which was probably coming. I mean, it's coming everywhere, right? So, I mean, it's all good changes. I mean,
but in essence, it's a Wall Street deal that
correct.
At the street level doesn't,
there you
at the
go.
Main Street level, it really doesn't mean anything.
And I read the Post Bulletin, and I'm sorry if whoever wrote it is listening, but it was a horrible article. And it was like, there are currently 25 realtors and they spelled realtors with an I, was terrible, and said at the Real Brokerage in Rochester, Minnesota, and they purchased the Remax Results office in Rochester, Minnesota, which has 80 agents, which is which is way off. I think probably like 140, and I don't know how many Real has, but probably more than 25. It was just so no information was gathered, and it was poorly written, and it has nothing to do with a local buyout of any sort. So thank you for asking, because I love having the opportunity to clear that up. So
it's interesting.
Business as usual at the Gwaltney Group Remax Results.
All right, Robin, we'll take a break. Come right back in a moment with Robin Gwaltney Group Remax Results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96 to Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group-RE Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Welcome back. Thanks for being with us. Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE Results on spring Saturday morning. I like the sound of that. It's May, Robin.
It is. I saw somebody on whatever day it was, May Day. Was it Friday or Thursday or what day
Friday.
is today? Okay.
Yeah.
So somebody said, do kids still do May baskets? And I thought, no, I don't think they've done May baskets for years, but I sure did those when I was a kid and I loved it.
You go and ring the doorbell and leave it at the front stoop?
My mom would buy paper cups and then she would buy pipe cleaners and she would poke holes in the top of the paper cups and she'd make handles out of the pipe cleaners. And then she'd put a little bit of the Easter grass in the bottom and then she'd fill it with candy. And then she would drive us in the car and we'd pull up to our friend's house and then we would jump out and we would run up to the door and we would hang them on the doorknob and we would ring the doorbell or we'd set them in front of the door and ring the doorbell and then run and giggle and laugh and get in the car and hope we could get out of there before they saw who dropped it. But we did it every year. It was a lot of fun. Definitely one of my mom's childhood memories.
My kids still did that. But that was 25 years ago. So
yeah, I don't think my kids did it. But maybe just because, we lived at the RBC house, so we didn't live in a neighborhood with other kids around or I don't know.
Some of the traditions are still alive. I've got a neighborhood kid who's out there knocking on doors telling us that he'll mow our lawn for so much.
Oh, I love it.
I do too.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid and selling Girl Scout cookies, I had to go from door to door. Now they just sit in the parking lot at Sam's and you can't say no to them, And then I buy so many and then I eat so many. And every year I'm like, oh my God, I'm not doing this again. But it's all good.
Yeah, it's like an addiction, isn't it?
Oh, it sure is.
Thin mints.
Thin mints. That's the only ones I like. It's the only ones I buy. I love it when I say, do you have any thin mints? And they say no. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I'm not buying any. Yep.
We have the lemon ones left.
Yeah. And I actually like them, but, I can buy comparable cookies at the store. But those thin mints, they are good.
Yeah, they definitely are. Well,
all right. Well, they're expensive, but not as expensive as houses. They've gone up a lot, haven't they?
Yeah. On the other hand, I'm a homeowner, so I benefited from that.
Correct.
So
I meant the Girl Scout cookies. I meant the Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, you meant the real estate.
Yeah. I mean, it's
the Girl Scout cookies. Yeah.
Everybody's complaining about prices are going up. Yes, prices are going up everywhere, across the board. Everything is getting more expensive. And to your very valid point that you make often, we're also making more money.
Yeah.
Right?
I look at the starting income for these jobs at Mayo Clinic now. Mm-hmm. And it just, to be honest with you, it makes me feel old because I remember what starting wages were when we were that, getting into the marketplace, the labor marketplace. So
I cannot tell you how excited I was when I earned $30,000 for 1 year's work. Okay?
Yeah.
I was thrilled beyond thrilled. I remember hearing my dad on the phone telling one of his sisters, Robin's getting paid $30,000.
Can you believe it?
Oh, well. Anyway, so, the spring market has been crazy. I mean, April, wow, what a month. My April was 43% busier than my April last year.
That is crazy. Wow.
I don't know which end is up. I am just running. And again, I'm not complaining. I am so grateful to be so busy. But wow, we are busy. I had a Zoom call with a new buyer yesterday. They're coming in from Atlanta, and they're coming in to he's a nurse, will be a nurse at Mayo Clinic, and she's a psychotherapist. But anyway, they'd been looking at the market and they were quite surprised by our prices. He said, we really thought that because we were coming to the Midwest, that the prices were going to be a lot less expensive than Atlanta. But he said, they're really not.
Really?
Yeah. And he said that, And he said that their house in Atlanta has taken forever to sell. And he said that their market is pretty saturated. And he said houses are sitting on the market for a very long time. And he said every time we look at something there in our price range, which is, the sweet spot, like $450, right? He says every time we look at our price range, it's there one day, gone the next. And he goes, we just don't understand it. And I said, well, it's just all, you're coming here for Mayo, so you understand Mayo and the growth of our city and all the jobs that are going to be coming and just being able to keep up. I said, I never thought I would see a day where I'm looking at statistics and am saying out loud that 25% of Rochester's population is living in apartments.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot.
It
and
is.
The total rent, I think, was like 31 or 32% of the population is renting. So the others are obviously renting homes. But, wow. And I don't believe that 25% of the population is choosing rent because that's their preference. I think that's their option.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
I know a number of young people who are in that situation. They have kids. They're renting. It's a nice apartment they're renting, but that's not where they want to be.
Right. Well, because they're not building their own equity. They're just making their landlord wealthier, right? So it's kind of nice that, and I said to this couple yesterday, because they said it's really important to them that they have an agent that's going to help them make a good financial decision. And I say, well, my motto is, your house is your bank account that you live in. That's my tagline, right? So I am going to make sure that we do this right so that you can take care of it and grow it and, grow its value. But it's all up to you as the homeowner to make the first, the right decision out of the gate, but then take care of the place and maintain it and keep it at its tip-top shape so it's at its tip-top worth. And he's like, yeah, he said, we did that at our house in Atlanta. And we were able to get it sold, but we had to give concessions, which in a different market, we would not have had to give. And I said, what do you think's going on there? And he said, the same reason we are moving to get out of there. The traffic is unreal. He said, we've kind of figured out here that we can live just about any side of town and get to work in 20 minutes.
Oh, gosh, easy.
He said, we can't be guaranteed to get to the grocery store a couple miles up the road in 20 minutes.
No, thank you.
No, thank you is right. So I said, there's definitely, and he said, it seems like a good city to raise your kids in. I said, oh my gosh, write that down because you will be saying, I am so thankful that I lived in Rochester and raised my kids in Rochester. I said, coming from someone who did that, who did raise my kids here, I will tell you, there's no place I would have rather raised them.
I agree 100% for the same reasons. Of course, I grew up here too. So. Yeah.
And I grew up in Wabasha. This was the big city when we'd come over here, come school shopping or, we're going to the big city.
55,000 people.
Or yes, exactly. Well, when I moved here for RCTC at the time, RCC at the time, yes. That's what it was, about 55,000 people. So we've watched it grow just a bit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Robin, we do need to take a break. We'll come right back. Maybe we can cover some of the new listings you have. Or
Let's do that.
Exciting listings, maybe is a better way to put it. Back in a moment with Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group-RE Max results at News Talk 1340, KROC AM, and 96.9 FM.
We'll be right back with Robin Gwaltney and Andy Brownell on Rochester Real Estate. This is News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 Rochester Real Estate with Robin Gwaltney from Gwaltney Group Remax Results and Andy Brownell on Rochester's News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM.
Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group Remax Results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM and 96.9 FM on this Saturday morning. And Robin, I'm going to turn it over to you to share some listings, I guess.
Oh, yes. Thank you. We have some great new listings. Let's see here. I've got 1045 19th Ave Northeast. Okay, so that is over toward, what's the big park, Andy? Help me out.
Quarry Hill?
Yeah, there you go. Yes. And this house is so nice. It is a multi-level, so it has 3 different levels. You come in, you're on the main floor where there's the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, and then you go up a few steps where the bedrooms and the bathrooms, and then you go down a few steps where there's a big family room, another bathroom, and then some utility rooms and stuff like that. So has a really private wooded backyard. It has, they've fresh painted, they've redone the wood floors, they have replaced some carpeting, they upped the electrical from fuses to a breaker box. I mean, they've just done everything to get it market ready. And it is built in 1964. It sits on 1/3 of an acre, 3 beds, 3 baths, 2-car garage, $369,900.
Oh goodness, yeah.
Yeah, it's priced right. It's a beauty. 3913 Sunnydale Lane, Southeast is another new listing that's really nice. This one is 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. It was built in 2018 and it sits on 1/4 of an acre lot, and it has just under 2,400 square feet, and it is $469,900. We have, we still have that condo over there in River Bluff at 1880 3rd Avenue. We did have somebody look at it this week. So, but man, it's a 2-bed, 1-bath condo with just about 1,000 square feet inside of River Bluff, all new flooring, all new paint, fresh and nice, $259,900. I think we are the only unit listed in there, but then there's a few for sale by owners.
I mean, you're talking about a real quick trip to downtown Rochester. Bam.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
right
It's a
there.
really nice location for a 55 and over co-op. It's really nice, actually. And this one that we have has a view of the river, I'll like to add. All right. 1826 Deerhaven Lane. That's a condo. I talked about that last week. We had just put that on 2 beds, 1 bath, 2-car garage. That one is $169,900. Listed a lot on the golf course in Wabasha for $75,000, over an acre. We just put a split level 1992, 2,000 square feet, 4 beds, 2 baths on 4415 Valley Drive Northwest. And this one has a really nice feature of a detached 4-car garage. So if you're looking for a really big garage, this one might suit you. It's $349,900.
Oh gosh, okay.
That's a great deal. Oh my gosh, we listed an adorable condo in Valhalla. Some of those you walk in and you feel like you walked back into a time capsule of 1970, and others have been done up really cute. This one has been done up really cute, and it's 1 bed and 1 bath, and it's $89,900.
Oh really? Wow.
Yeah, right? So somebody who's looking to really simplify life, downsize, live cheap, there you go. That's a great option for you.
I was a kid when they built that place, and I remember exploring the construction site.
Oh, and how cool did you think it was that they had a pool?
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the first time I went there because I had friends that lived there, and I was like, you guys have a pool? Wow. Yeah, that was very cool. Anyway, we've got a new listing out in Zumbro Falls. This is a really cool, different, unique property, okay? It has 16 acres. It has a slab-on-grade house that was built probably maybe 10, let me see. It says 2009. I don't know if that's when the house was built. Maybe. Doesn't feel like it, but it's a slab-on-grade, so think of just all one-level living, right?
Yep.
And it's got 4 bedrooms and 3 baths, and it has, I'm confusing 2 properties with one. This is a different one. This is also a great property. I haven't lost my mind. Sorry. I told you I've been busy. This one was built in 2009. This is not the slab on grade. This is a 2-story, and this one is 4 beds, 3 baths, and the address is 59261 County Road 7, Zumbro Falls. It's $769,900, and it is on the waterfront. Okay, so that is a nice property. I think we've had quite a few showings there. We have 706 12th Street, Wabasha. Nope, that one is sold already. Forget that one. 723 14th Street East in Wabasha is a townhome that is 2 beds, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet, $278,000. So that's all one level, 0 entry. We've got a house at 641 20th Street Northeast in Rochester for $369,900, and it looks like I'm running out of time, and I'll have to save the rest for next week. So we've got lots of properties. I think we literally got about halfway through, but I started with the newest ones, so those are the ones that you probably hadn't heard about in the last couple of weeks.
And if you want to see any of these properties or find out about the other ones that are available in our area or anything dealing with real estate, how do we get a hold of Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results?
Yes, please call me on my cell phone anytime, and that number is 507-259-4926, and when I say it, I mean it. I look forward to your calls.
All right, Robin. Always great catching up, and we'll talk again next Saturday morning.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks, Robin Gwaltney, Gwaltney Group RE/MAX Results on News Talk 1340 KROC AM at 96.